Radhe Radhe and Namaskaram. Bhagavan Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Maharaj once was asked about miracles, and he immediately said that if you actually see, this whole world is a miracle, our body is a miracle, and very life of each one of us is a miracle. It's true, isn't it? It is just that we don't pause to think and feel the awe and wonder of this universe, of this body, of our own life, where we started, where we are, where we are going to go. We are all guided, the whole universe is guided by the magic touch or a miraculous touch of divinity. And our own life is obviously guided by a magic touch, a miraculous touch of divinity. And our own body seems to work because there is a magic touch, a miraculous touch of divinity within. We call Antaryami, or the indweller or incontroller, Krishna within. And to add on to these miracles is the greatest of all miracles. What is a miracle? Something which is very rare to occur, something which we can't figure out, something which we can't explain, but something which is joyful and something which creates wonder, isn't it? The greatest miracle, have you ever wondered, is a guru coming inside our life. That's the greatest miracle. Radhe Radhe. We are going to see a lovely song, which is a lovely outpouring from the heart of our Guru, which is showered upon us as Kripa. The song is called Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum. On this auspicious day, let us relish that song and feel inside Madhuram Aho Madhuram. Kalaye Sundarakaram Sadaika Priyadarshanam Ajnananashakam Devam Sadgurum Muralidharam Murali Mandita Karakamalam Munijana Mohanam Vyatyastapadam Vanamala Dharinam Prema Bhakta Mandala Nitya Kirtitam Premika Varadam Ashrayegam. The greatest of all miracles, as we just saw a few seconds back, is the miracle of a guru walking in our lives. I think that's the accurate definition, because we cannot walk into a guru walks into us. That's what Bhagavatam or Ramayanam or any of those great epics and ancient histories show us. That when Bhagavan is somehow pleased for whatever reason, or because of the accrued fortunes of crores of lives, a miracle happens in our life now, in this lifetime, which is a guru walking in our life like a breeze, and then creating the whole life, recreating our old life as something miraculous, something joyful, something divine. And that guru is absolutely essential for anybody, particularly for our spiritual life, but more so even for our day-to-day living. To convert our day-to-day routine life into something divine and wonderful, we need a guru to walk in. And it happens not because of our efforts, possibly because of our prayers, but some of us didn't even pray for it. It happens because of a miracle called the divine grace. That we get a lovely guru, a friend, a mother, a father, at times a child, a teacher, a mentor, and above all, God Himself, Bhagavan Himself. So here our Swamiji says that we need a guru. Generally Shankarar, Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada or Kailashapati Shankarar in Bhagavata Sampradaya is revered as a guru. When he comes down, he becomes an ornament to our life. He becomes an ornament to this world. If he is Jagat Guru, he becomes this wonderful loveliness which makes our life lovely, which makes this world lovely. And it's an abharanam for this world. And when Shankara comes down as an abharanam, you know what happens. Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum, காரணமற்ற குருவருள் வேண்டவே வேண்டும். you will listen to the more melodious version in the end of this short experience of joy and wonder of our Guru's grace. A lovely song set in a raga called Shankarabharanam, where our Swamiji straight away comes to the point that we all need a Guru. He repeats that 4 times. Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum. And when we actually want to adamantly or in a benign way, when we want to impress upon somebody, we repeat it. And when we impress upon the importance of something, we repeat it. All the more, when we feel the wonder, we repeat it. So what a wonderful tree, what a wonderful plant. Likewise, the need, the greatest need, that need which fulfills all other needs, that need which actually makes all other need wither away, irrelevant, is a need for a Guru. And so our Swamiji says, Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum. The purpose of human life is fourfold. It's called Chaturvargam or fourfold. One is Dharma, which means the life of values aligned to our scriptures. And Artha, which is a life of financial security. We have what we need around us. And the third one is called Kama, some desires, basic needs like food, water, air. That's also Kama. And our desires, our aspirations, our ambitions, Kama. And then Moksha, liberation from these 3. So since we have possibly these 4 things, and since the essence of Vedas is finally summed up with this word that a Purusha is complete only when he becomes an Acharyavan, or when he actually attains an Acharya or an Acharya finds it. And since the Vedas are 4, maybe that's why our Swamiji very beautifully has repeated Guru Vendum for Dharma, Guru Vendum for Artha, Guru Vendum for Kama, Guru Vendum for Moksha. And above all, Karanamatra Guru Arul. Forget all this. Forget I need Guru for something. For me to celebrate what I am, for me to celebrate this life, forget all the other reasons. Without any reason, I do need a Guru. You see. So, for no reason, I need Guru. Just for me being me, fully, I need Guru. And so here our Swamiji says that we need Guru, Guru Vendum, 4 times. And it is the essence of 4 Vedas. It is the essence of how we meet or how we fulfill life's 4 grand purposes, Purushartha. And finally, for no reason, without a Guru, I am not what I am. Generally we say that a person without parents who are, nobody is forsaken obviously, a person without parents, we say Anatha, orphan, poor boy or poor girl, and we do feel mercy for it. That's seen on a worldly view. From a spiritual point of view, a person without a master, a spiritual master or a guru is a spiritual orphan. Nobody is there to feed Jnana Bhakti Vairagya like a mother. Nobody is there to guide. When we tend to fall, there is nobody to catch like a father. All of us, when we were children, when we were trying to learn bicycling, we had a fatherly fear. At times the mother becomes a father. We have a father or a father-like person to give us an assurance, keep pedaling. Even if you slip, don't worry, I am here to catch you. I am right behind you to guide you, to catch you when you fall. Spiritually, when we are about to fall, we need a father, a spiritual father. And we need a spiritual mother to feed us with rasa, with bhakti, with jnana and with vairagya. So when we don't have these 2 agencies, which is one actually, Guru, we are a spiritual orphan. Bhagavan feels this tremendous mercy when he sees spiritual orphans. And that is the reason why he sends a Guru to take care of us. So that's the necessity. Like you say, a child needs a mother, child needs a father. A spiritual child for it to grow spiritually and for it to grow in the path of divinity, it needs a guru. So, guru vendum. We need a mother, we need a father, we need a friend, and we need a guide. For all these four, guru is mother, guru vendum. We need a guru. Guru is like a father, guru mata, guru pita. And guru, when you actually are fortunate to see him as he is, or rather when he or she reveals himself as he is, we realize he is Kula Devata. And above all else, he starts off being a friend also to us. So, a child needs a mother, a father, friend, and divinity itself, Kula Devata. Likewise, the four needs of a child are taken care spiritually by one agency, by one person called Guru. So, Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum. And for us to taste something which is beyond this business of this world, Loka Vyaparam, for us to taste something which is costless, which is spontaneous, which is true, which is real, we need a guru. All the other relationships or all the other favors given to us are always laced with a little bit or a great deal of reason. I am doing this for you because you did something for me. I am doing this for you because you are my son or you are my daughter, you see. But there is an arul, there is this favor, there is this mercy, there is this wonderful showering of love. Love, when it becomes very ripe and costless, is arul. Our Swamiji adds it as an adjective, not as a qualifying condition. Arul itself is actually costless. So, he is trying to explain that arul, which is costless, which has no reason, which has no business, for us to actually realize it, for us to actually taste it, we need a guru. And so, here this word used in our Sri Madhura Gita is Vendave Vendum. Certainly we need it. Generally it is used in the opposite. When you certainly don't want, when you don't want something, in Tamil we say Vendam. When we certainly don't want something, we say Vendave Vendam. Right? Bilkul nahi chahiye type of a thing. But this usage is something very new, apurvam in our language, as far as my little knowledge of Tamil goes. That he is using the opposite of I don't want it at all, Vendave Vendam, to its opposite, Vendave Vendum. You see, which means I certainly want it. I must absolutely have it. Like our children say, even for small things, I must absolutely have that ice cream. But really, here, Vendave Vendum is a wonderful use of terms where he is trying to show the limit of how we absolutely need it. And what do we need? Karanamatra Guru Arul Vendave Vendum. And also, the word Vendu actually means, Vendudal also means prayers. For us to actually, Vendave Vendum actually also means for us to pray for that wonderful costless love of the Guru, we need a Guru to start with. So, here the Guru himself shows the way, he is the destination, and we realize that there is one person in this world who loves me for absolutely no reason, who loves me unconditionally. He knows my history, he knows my future, he knows all the dark areas of my heart. He knows it, there is not an area in my heart which he cannot see. Even I may have blind spots, a Guru does not. So, when we say Gu and Ru, the one who actually lights up the darkness of ignorance, he is the light which dispels the darkness of ignorance, he has to be there. Thus, there are some areas of my heart where even I fear to tread, to go and walk. But a Guru, out of his tremendous costless love, lights up all corners of my heart, most of which was dark, and he lights it up. That's the beauty of the costless, unconditional, I don't want anything from you, I just want to see you happy, I just want you to see you reunited with your real self, which is divinity, which is Krishna. And that's how Karana Rahita Guru Arul. You see, absolutely no reason. Even Bhagavan, as the Lord of the universe, has a compulsion. He can't independently do what he likes. because he himself has put some rules, regulations, karma, kalam, swabhavam, you see, all this he has put. And because he is the governor, he is the one who takes care of this universe, he cannot transgress his own rules. Of course he can, but he chooses not to as Bhagavan. But when this Bhagavan himself becomes a guru, or when Bhagavan himself comes down as a guru, the beauty is he can, without any cause, independently bestow kripa up to Vaikuntham, right? That's why our Bhagavata Mahatmyam starts by saying, Arey, don't worry about all the sadhana, don't be so much attracted, or don't be so much diverted by the books which talks about this sadhana, that's, and all that are beautiful, all that are genuine, all that are completely true, all that are beautiful, until we come to a guru. After that, our spiritual journey is a guru carrying us, na? So here he is saying that Pragyachati Guru Prito Vaikuntham Yogi Durlabham. This rishis, they try to start by giving examples for a guru. He starts by saying Chintamanir Loka Sukham, like a precious gem called Chintamani, which completely fulfills all our worldly desires. Chintamanir Loka Sukham Suradruhu Swarga Sampadam. There is a tree in Swargam called Kalpataru, you see, wish fulfilling tree. Under it you ask for any heavenly joys, pleasures, desires, everything is fulfilled. But there is something which is way beyond all this, which is called a guru. When that guru walks into our life and is pleased with us for no reason, if we just plainly obey, he is pleased. Imagine that. You don't have to do anything. Prayachati Guru Prito Vaikuntham Yogi Durlabham. Guru opens the door of Vaikuntha, and this Guru, when he opens the door Vaikuntha for all of us, even Dwarapalakas, Jaya and Vijaya will never say stop, because they did it once and they had to face the consequence. When a Guru sends somebody, everybody invites them. In fact, he has a special place under Lord's feet, more than a person who somehow as a yogi managed to attain Vaikuntha. But the moment Bhagavan thinks, oh, you have been sent by this master, please come, sit here. Charananti, come sit close to my feet. Karanamatra Guru Arul Vendave Vendum. Certainly we need a causeless Guru Krupa. A Guru Krupa which at times intimidates us. It intimidated even people like Swami Vivekananda, who was like a Sreshta of all men when he was, he descended here. That causeless mercy, love, which Ramakrishna Paramsa poured on Vivekananda intimidated him, because where is it coming from? He couldn't figure that out, you see, Karanamatra. And so at times even that causeless love of a guru intimidates us. We don't know what is that in me which makes my guru like me, love me, talk to me like this, and shower his affection, grace. And his own penance which he collected by tremendous sacrifices freely distributing on me. What is? Nothing. We don't deserve anything, so don't worry, don't even ask that question, do I deserve Guru's grace? It is nonsensical question, because the question is wrong. Because the grace by definition is Karana Rahita, or Karanamatra Guru Arul. That the grace of the Guru by definition has no agenda, has no cause, has no reason. So searching for something which is not there is nonsensical. It's like searching for a hare's horn. I want to find a small rabbit with horn in it. The question itself is wrong. Where can I find a rabbit with a horn? Wrong question. Because you are talking about something which does not exist. Like that, when we ask ourselves, what do I do to deserve Guruji's grace or Guru's grace? Intellectually, wrong question. But as a wonder and for us to shed tears of joy and gratitude, we can ask, what did I do to deserve? That's a different question. What did I do to deserve my Guru's grace is a metaphorical question. It's not an intellectual question. It's a celebration of the causeless love of a Guru in our heart. That is perfect, you see. Karanamatra Guru Arul Vendave Vendum. And he is telling, even though Guru's grace is causeless, we need Guru's grace as a cause for all these miracles to happen in our life. A miracle because it has never happened before. Something which happens suddenly out of the blue is called a miracle. Na? Nobody ever thinks a rainbow is a miracle because it has happened before. Suppose in the history of the world and the humankind there was never a rainbow. Suddenly a rainbow occurs. We say, hey, miracle in the sky. Right? Likewise, for time, eternity in the past, to use mathematics, sorry, from minus infinity time to now, one thing has never happened. And Guru's Kripa, he started to work on me and I started to see this miracle. The first miracle, what is it? Vishayam yendra visham muriya Guru vendum Guru vendum. There is something called Vishaya. Vishaya means attraction towards the objects of this world. There are things, I look at this is very beautiful, that's very beautiful, so far so good. The flower is very beautiful, let me pluck it and put it on my head. Let it decorate my tresses. That's mischievous. Vashamam. The flower is beautiful, fantastic. This is how a person who has aesthetic sense and a person who should have aesthetic sense should look at it. This flower needs to be offered to Krishna, beautiful, that's called bhakti. But the moment you say this flower should belong to me, it becomes poison. Vishayam has no problem. The moment I look at Vishayam and want to possess it or I want it to make it mine, it becomes Visham or poison because I lose my peace. And I move farther away from Krishna. And so here our Swamiji uses the same language of Bhagavatam because our Swamiji's heart is Bhagavatam. You do Bhagavata Smaranam, we are doing our Gurunatha Smaranam. When you say Smarare Bhagavatam, Smarare Sadgurum. Both are same. When you remember Gurunatha, you can't help remembering Bhagavatam. They are inseparable, you see. And that's the beauty of this wonderful word, Vishayam yendra Visham muriya Guru vendum Guru vendum. In Bhagavata Mahatmyam, there is this wonderful word or a phrase which our Swamiji is reflecting from his heart. Asare samsare vishaya vishasankula diyaha. He is saying this samsara or this transmigratory existence, the existence of samsara, where we keep on getting desires for objects of this world and then we try to acquire it, and then if we fail we are angry, if we are not sure whether we get it we are afraid, if somebody else gets it we feel jealous, and we feel very miserly when we get it and say I won't share it with anybody. All this so called 6 enemies, Shad Ripu, is all because of samsara. The world is beautiful, it is created by Bhagavan. When we are a devotee, the whole world is filled with our beloved goddess, you see, our beloved Radharani. But as a person without that blessings from a guru, the world becomes a very different way of looking at it, it becomes poison. And here the Visham is, generally when a snake comes and bites a person, the body is infected and it starts becoming blue and all that stuff. But when the objects of this world, we are attracted towards it and we desire it, that Visham is Sankula Diyaha. Our mind gets poisoned. This bodily poison, there is an antidote. For the mental poison, we don't know, it stays forever. When we get a new body, this poison will go. When we get a new body, the poison of the mind comes as tendencies, samskaras. It comes as vasanas, you see. And so he is saying, a miracle. Arey bhai, there is a miracle happening, chamatkar happening, arpudam happening, come have a look. What? When I go to a guru and a guru looks at me with kataksha, slowly, Vishayam yendra Vishamuriya, the mind is slowly divested of its poison. And for that, Guru vendum, Guru vendum. For our mind not to be poisoned, for our intellect not to be deluded. When the mind is poisoned, it creates emotions of anger, hate, jealousy, which I just told you. So for that we need one Guru vendum. Our Dhya, which is our intellect, which aspires, which decides on things, which says this is what it is, etc. That if it is to be misguided, then we will go in a wrong road. Na? So for our intellect, which decides this is right, this is wrong, and makes the choices, Guru vendum, so that we make the right choices. We choose the long-term well-being of our soul rather than a short-term poisoning of our mind. And for the mind which is poisoned by this Vishayam, by desires, by jealousy, fear, etc., all the emotions, I need a guru. So here very beautifully, Vishayam Yendra Vishamuriya, for that poison which actually is like a snake gave a poison, the objects of this world, when I desire it, it actually spews the poison. For me to get rid and detox myself, that's the word, isn't it? Detox myself, I need a guru. And the detox happens in a mental level and an intellectual level. Buddhi detox and Manas detox. Manas has all these feelings. Detox and make it Anandam. Buddhi has all the detox. Complete take care of all that, and the Buddhi is very clear. It is pointed, it is directed to the right direction. Right choices. Vishayam Yendra Vishamuriya Guru Vendum Guru Vendum. And then, once the mind is made a little pure, we realize there is something called bhakti. Here bhakti is repeated twice for two reasons. This is bhakti seidida and prema bhakti il nilaitida. Bhakti is sadhana and sadhya or siddha. So sadhana means I am practicing it, which means I have still not got the intense love in my heart. And our Shastras say, do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, listen to Bhagavatam, do Kirtana of Mahamantra, and then remember Bhagavan and Guru all the time, etc. And I am practicing it. Which means, whether I like it or not, I am doing it. Because I like the end result, but I don't like the practice fully. Of course, I like to listen, but there is a time limit. Beyond 3 hours, I can't listen. Still, it doesn't mean I like it. When you become a Prema Bhakta, 24/7 you feel blissful when we listen to Bhagavatam or when we do Mahamantra Kirtana or when we do Krishna Chintanam, Smarare Sukham. So that's the beauty of the first Bhakti in Ajam Purindu Bhakti Seidida Guru Vendum Guru Vendum. First to understand the depth, first to understand the grandness, first to understand or not to be misled by the surface. When we say bhakti, we say going to temple or just doing some half an hour of some puja, I am a very great bhakta. That's not the depth of bhakti, it is merely the surface of bhakti filled with waves of tumultuous waves. But when we go to a guru makes us realize that what we did as a business with Bhagavan, I come to temple, give me a promotion. I come to temple, let me pass the exams. I come to temple, let this relationship of mine be strengthened, etc. That's not real bhakti, we realize only when we go to a guru. Otherwise we would think, I have been to this great hill temple so many times, I have been to this seashore temple so many times. We think that's bhakti. Or doing business with Bhagavan. It actually happened. A devotee went to Swamiji and Swamiji asked him, were you doing bhakti before you came to satsang? And the boy said, oh, absolutely. Right from my young age, I was a great bhakta. And the Swamiji, out of his grace, out of his compassion, because he was really wanting to, transform this little boy, he told that boy, no, my dear child, you are not doing bhakti, you are doing business with the Lord. And the boy said, yeah, now I realize it. Bhakti in ajam purindu bhakti seidida guru vendum guru vendum. Even great bhakta says, I don't think I know the path of bhakti. Teliyaledu Rama bhakti barbagu. I mean, it is such a deep, it's a vast expansion of sky. It's like a pathless expansion of sky, and each bhava is unique in its own way. So, bhakti is so deep, it is never ending. That's why it is said, as we go in the path of bhakti, whether it is Shravanam, Kirtanam or Smaranam or, adoring Bhagavan, Tadeva Satyam Taduhaiva Mangalam Tadeva Punyam Bhagavad Gunodayam Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Navam Navam Tadeva Sashvan Manaso Mahotsavam Tadeva Shokar Navasoshanam Nrinam Yaduttama Shloke Yashonu Giyate Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Navam Navam. Every second is ever new. It's how deep it is. You see, you can never say this is the limit of bhakti. And that we realize only when we go to the feet of our beloved Guru Maharaj. And a Guru actually bestows his kripa. That's the miracle. where we start seeing things in a proper light. That's miracle, you see. And that's why he's saying, we need the Guru for understanding the depth of bhakti and to do bhakti. So, Guru Vendum, Bhakti in Aazham Purindu, to understand the depth and to look at bhakti with wonder and awe like a little child looking at the vast expansion of the ocean, standing at the beach for the first time. He says, wow, it is so vast, it is so deep. So, Guru Vendum, the first Guru Vendum is for Bhakti in Aazham Purindida. To understand the depth of this wonderful nectarine ocean called bhakti, to understand the vast infinite expanse of this bhakti, first to realize it is so, Guru Vendum, and to actually walk in the path of bhakti, Guru Vendum. So, Bhakti in Aazham Purindu Bhakti Seidida, Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum. Whenever Swamiji uses a word, it is not in vain. Always, every little letter, every little phrase, every little suffix and prefix has rasa, it has depth of its meaning. Like bhakti, each Madhura Geetam is deep this way. And each time we sit down and sing the Madhura Geetam, a new angle, a new hue, a new rasa is revealed to us by Karanamatra Guru Arul, by the causeless mercy of our beloved Guru Maharaj. So this is the first verse of this Guru Vendum, Guru Vendum. We will see the other verses very shortly. Radhe Radhe. Have a lovely Diwali and a lovely Sri Swamiji Jayanti, our beloved Master's Jayanti. Swamiji wanted us to spend the day in divine contemplation of the divine name, to read and listen to Bhagavatam, and to remember the grace of Bhagavan in form of our beloved Master. Radhe Radhe. Premamrutam yo murali ninadehi Sri Krishna rupena purava varsha adhyapi soyam murali dharakyo pushnati premna bhuvanam saharsham. Sadguru Maharaj ki jai.